Hello, I'm here with our Artist of the Month, Valery Guignon, whose work you can sort of see in the background here. But Valery, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me and have this wonderful interview. And I was wondering if you could just kind of give us a quick, I know it's hard, right, overview of some of your work here and what you have on display here.
Well, this is a full collection of the work I've been doing recently, and even before that, I did welding. And I made clothes for 40 years. I started with the bedposts in my bedroom when I was old enough to do a safety pin, and I made outfits for the bedposts in my bedroom. So I've been actually making clothes for 70 years.
Wow.
And I'm very inventive, incredibly inventive. I have a degree in industrial design. I'm a creator. I could use grass and make things.
Yeah.
So it's something that's been with me all my life. It's how spirit moves through me.
Wow. Yeah. I guess that ties really well. You know, how do you engage with and inspire that creative process?
I have rooms, studios, where I keep all kinds of interesting things that interest me and inspire me. And when I was young, I asked God to help me figure out how to make a living doing jigsaw puzzles. Well, my studios, which right now I have a 3-bedroom house and 2 of the bedrooms are full of materials, they're jigsaw puzzles without a box.
Yeah.
And so I just walk in there and spirit says, ooh, move this around, put it connected with that, that's really pretty. See what will happen if we put a really thick, heavy stitch and cause this to ripple. Oh, wouldn't the rippling be exciting and interesting? That just, it's a natural for me.
Yeah. So is there any direct inspiration for some of this work that you're displaying here?
Well, the clothing, because women are great, accessible models. They're a way to display your work, right?
Yeah.
So if I make a beautiful garment and put it on a woman with my tag on it, she tells her friends it's Guignon, this is a Guignon, right? And then she gets to swish around and feel beautiful in it. So that's a given right there. It's fascinating. Then there's wall space. People have wall space in their homes. So I take my silk scraps and I turn them into beautiful wall hangings.
Yeah.
Never a blank spot on a wall. One of my mottos. I love making stuff out of my scraps, the odds and ends from the silk. I save them and I make them into quilts. And these are little I call them table quilts that you can just leave on the table, but also you could hang them on the wall and just have a moment of art as you walk by. Yeah. Or a coaster if you need to have a use for it. Put your cup on it, and they're not that expensive, and people are loving them. They're just a nice little pretty bit of art to take home. So that stuff just makes sense to me.
Yeah, and there's something very tangible about it.
Yeah,
it's art that you wear.
Yeah, this is not wearable, but this is wearable. But all of the scraps that are made, this is made out of, get smaller and smaller as as we cut the edges off to make a rectangle. And I have bins of this, so they just call to me. They're jigsaw puzzles, and I just have to make something with them.
I love that. That's so cool. I love that so much. So I suppose you've touched on this a little bit. How does your spirituality really coexist and interact with your creativity?
It is my creativity. I've done a lot of meditation in my life, a lot of reading, a lot of studying. I'm one with spirit as much as I can be. And as I'm one with spirit in a room full of materials, what's going to happen, right? Interaction. Energy is going to flow. Fascinating things are going to happen.
Right.
So like in this case, I was just sitting with a white pad of paper, and I just drew this line. Sometimes if I want to draw, I don't know what I want to draw, I just draw a line. And I said, well, what are you going to do with that? So I drew another line. Okay, well, it turned into a woman's face over here. And then it just goes on and tells me what to do next, and
Yeah.
And so this ended up being a color pencil and ink drawing, and I call it Monkey Mind, because as I created her face, as her face emerged, I saw that she was meditating. She looked like she was meditating. So then this part of me said, you gotta put in the monkey mind. The monkey mind is the part that tries to mess with your serenity. And says, you need to think about this. Weren't you supposed to be going to the bank? And so there's the monkey mind. And so it became a story in a sense. So it started out with a line that ended up becoming a story about how we all have to live with the monkey mind as we try to meditate and it tries to distract us.
Yeah.
So that's a two-dimensional piece of paper that turned into a story.
Yeah. I love that. It seems like so much of it is saying yes to where things are going and not trying to immediately project an idea of like what it should be.
When I was a welder, and I had my own welding studio and I did large sculptures, I realized one day I was laying in bed and I said, well, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna put some screen on there and I'm gonna put a thing here and I wanna put a light behind the screen. And I got out to the studio and I started to work and it said, it's not working, it's not. And then I realized that your art is dead unless you have in conversation with your materials. You can't go out and say, you're gonna do this and have an alive piece of art.
Yeah.
If you go out and I'm not gonna do this, but I will do that. Okay, well then let's do that. So you're in the flow and in a conversation with your materials. Kind of like music, where you start to write a song and it's not working and you're not working and you can force it and come up with something that's okay.
Yeah.
Or you can stay with it for however long it takes to see where it takes you and to see what spirit comes through.
Yeah. This is so inspiring to me because I think music is interesting because it can be a very kind of non-committal art form. You can kind of just pick up an instrument and just kind of noodle and then it's gone, kind of like dissipates, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas like with this, it's like you do a paint stroke, like it's there. You're not undoing that. You paint over it maybe. I think that's interesting. It makes me think about my own music. How can I make more musical paint strokes?
Well, like in this one, this is the third version of this. At first it was an abstract. I lived with it for a while and it wasn't inspiring me. Kind of like when you're writing the lyrics of a song and they're just not right.
Sure.
So I added something else. Well, that was nice. And then I lived with that for 6 months to a year. And then I started to draw into it and brought in more line work. And I'm calling it done now.
I love that. Yeah, so you just all over the map.
Yes, sir.
With things that you do.
I'm also a percussionist and a dancer.
Yes.
And an actress and a writer.
Do you think all of these things feed?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's all spirit moving.
Right.
And I just go with the flow.
Absolutely. That's all we can do.
Yeah.
I love that so much. So Valery, how can we and people who are watching, how can we keep track and keep tabs on what you're doing?
Good luck.
Website or what?
Oh yeah, I have a website for my clothing called Guignon.com. But I post just about everything on either Instagram or Facebook. And if you follow me, my art is popping up on there all the time.
Okay, so they probably use your name to find you on Facebook.
Yes.
And then how about Instagram? How would they find you on?
Same thing, Valery Guignon.
Okay.
Yeah, Guignon.
Very good.
It's très française.
Yes, absolutely. Well, goodness, Valery, I'm just so impressed. This work is so beautiful. If you haven't made it out yet to take a look at it, it's up here all month. You should absolutely do it. It's just breathtaking to see. And of course, thank you so much for being here. And thank you for taking the time to sit with me.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Until next time.
Okay.